he's come in, but he voted for all the policies that are in place. He's going to have a different tone. He's going to implement.
Well, he's already
the
said no more hostile.
Yeah.
It'll now be compliant, right? Yeah. So what he means is, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, it certainly meant him saying to Theresa May, "Thank you very much for the job. Now I'm disagreeing with what your approach, because of course he is the son of Pakistani migrants. His dad was a bus driver. He's been very successful. Big Thatcherite. You love him. He used to have a portrait of Thatcher on his office wall.
I've got the same one.
Which I find very odd.
I've got the same
one.
Quite
right. I think in a way it's going to be business as usual. And he's come in saying it's all going to be a fresh start, but it might be a new face doing the old policies. It may not actually change very much, because Amber Rudd said there would be compensation and citizenship for those who are being...
I think it's more than that, because I think the immigration officials at the Home Office who enforced this Windrush policy so badly thought they were taking their lead from ministers. If you've now got a minister coming and saying we're not going to have this phrase hostile environment, I've scrapped it, I think that will percolate right through the Home Office, and it needs to.
Interesting story in the Times that Amber Rudd was given very bad advice by her top civil servants.
Just before she went into that select committee where she said there are no targets for moving illegal migrants, she was told that specifically by one of her most senior civil servants. However, she ought to have known there was a target.
She should have done, but
we know that she'd written a letter to the Prime Minister, but she was told.
But if you are given specific advice by civil servants...
Just before she went into the select committee.
If that's accurate,
it is.
He has serious questions to answer. Quite clearly.
Well, Sajid Javid.
Well, Sajid Javid will have him in. He'll say, look, were you sending these emails and saying that we didn't have targets when we did have targets, and you've confused her? At the end of the day, the buck stops at the top. It has to stop with the Home Secretary.
But there is a feeling around Amber Rudd's friends that when she said in the Commons about Windrush, it was a failure by my department which put policy before people. In other words, she was blaming her officials, that her officials were then out to get her.
It does look like an internal war, doesn't it, between
Wouldn't
her
be the first
and,
one between
and civil servants.
Home Secretary and the officials.
She was writing the memos, though, talking about tougher policies, and then she was saying raising the targets, and then saying we haven't got targets.
Let's talk briefly about Sajid Javid, because he's an extraordinary story, isn't it? His father, Abdul, worked as a bus driver in Rochdale in Greater Manchester. Sajid was born in '69 after arriving at Heathrow, this is his father, in 1961 with £1 in his pocket.
Exactly. Amazing.
I mean, and he's now got a son who's become the Home Secretary.
I know, and his father then went on to set up some shops, a classic Pakistani immigrant who came here, did good for himself and his family, and Sajid Javid is carrying on the good work.
That's the very best of immigration.
Absolutely.
I mean, look at the Javids. You know, you've got a man who came here with nothing, who built a business which which paid people wages, invested in the economy, and one of his sons has become one of the great pillars of our state.
The first Muslim to occupy one of the great offices of state. It's a great achievement.
Sajid Javid is the Tory Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London's similarly Pakistani parents.